Charles Sinkala, who is the president, you might remember him, of the World Native Identity Foundation. Doc, happy Sunday. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. And good afternoon to your viewers.
You know, Doctor, before we go any further, I mean, we were just talking about this on air. We heard what the youth representative says in light of the elections. And these are very smart people, but they've not, it doesn't seem like they've garnered enough support or put together enough effort to make sure that their reforms and policies were upheld.
Yes, thank you very much. Firstly, I would like to congratulate the Zimbabweans, you know, for taking a center stage that tomorrow they will be lining up to do a political complete transformation of their country. This is the only time again that I've heard on the ground that for the first time in the history of the Zimbabwean elections, we've got a lot of media coverage, including the international community, the CNN, the BBC, and especially, of course, SABC. There,
of course, Doctor.
There, you know, and it's something that is magical for them. It's a transformation, which, if I recall very well, in my country, Zambia, this is the time of the KK, when he stepped out of power after 27 years of rule in 1990, 1991, where multipartyism was allowed to vote freely. You know, the unity for the young people now, they have gone through rough times. I mean, we could see a lot of them live in countries where they're in diaspora, you know, especially South Africa. Yeah. Buses were going this weekend back there for them to cast that vote to do that transformation. I think there's a very good sense of the involvement of the young people. We can see also one of the candidates, presidential candidates, Nelson Chamisa.
Yeah, he's just 40 years old.
Just turned 40 years, you know. So this is the new type of meritocracy we have to introduce in African politics, that the old guards must be phased out and bring new blood inside. Absolutely.
As the young man was saying there, he says those Mugabe's speech was just utterances of an old man and whose time has expired. And he says what the youth want is, you know, some firm decisions when it comes to policy. But Doc, look, we've had discussions about the free and fairness of these elections after almost 38 years of turmoil in the country. What for you, though, still remains a very thorny issue in the Zimbabwean constitutional as well as democratic aspect? I mean, Mugabe earlier referenced how the country has actually become so undemocratic. What is he talking about here?
Yes, you see, I'd like to disagree with the comment from that who said is an old man who was just mumbling. And I think this is a platform Mugabe never wanted to say publicly, to expose himself post his resignation. He touched a lot of areas there that one can only not look at him like an old horse or mumbling and talking, almost falling off his seat there. But we could see the sense of him talking about, I built ZANU-PF to liberate Zimbabwe. And ZANU-PF became something else which turned him to be the way he is, and it threw him out of the course.
He says they tormented him.
So this is why he exactly is pointed that he had so much faith in this party, whom he thought this political party would transform the government and make the betterment of the country.
When he was still at the helm or after his rule?
You see, he even mentioned that being a president, unfortunately I have to disagree with him, and this happens to most of the African leaders, where they say it is a collective decision because he was being guided by other people to do certain things.
Absolutely.
But you can tell a rat from a frog, the difference in there, you know. I mean, he talked about being traumatized and exited, and he said this shouldn't happen again by using the gun to take out the democracy. It's supposed to be, democracy must be control the guns. And, you know, he publicly said they do not, actually was actually in a way endorsing MDC, though he never accepted that he met him personally. They have met a couple of times. He hasn't met him in public, but he has simply telling the Zimbabwean people that you need political change. Even if you have taken out the government of whom he headed, they want also ZANU-PF to leave so that they can have a new blood, a new generation to take over. Though his regime was captured, You know, many of African countries or governments get captured by certain groups, individuals who are sick and thirsty, have got insatiable appetite for looting and stealing on industrial scale. So he couldn't control that. He alluded as well to an instance where one of his senior comrades there was found, he got some money, and when he was approached directly, he mentioned that I wanted to use the money for my school fees for my kids, and I'll bring back the money, and until now that the money hasn't gone back. So this is where Mugabe put his faith into. You know, actually I can actually point it out now that the ZANU-PF and the Zimbabwean people has failed Mugabe as who is hero, whom they believed in, who liberated the country. You know, every African country has got a hero. In Zambia, we've got Kenneth Kaunda. Here we've got Nelson Mandela. In Congo, Emily Patrice Lumumba. You know, in all other countries, there's an icon whom you look at. But the Zimbabweans, especially the ZANU-PF, has failed the Mugabe. They should have let him step out of power at the correct time, you know, for him to get the honor. You know,
Doc, now that you say that, I mean, it's no secret that he leaves with 500,000 odd members within the ZANU-PF. That surely is a big dent when it comes to tomorrow's polls, don't you think? And also after having publicly announced that he's not going to vote for those people that tormented him. So what does this say now? The 500,000 is going along to the MDC.
How can he vote for them even when he went to the pension? He mentioned he went to the pension scheme. They said they're going to pay him $460,000. And I think to him it's not enough. They offered him an island or a house where he's going to, and still they're not giving him that. So it's actually a big drop. I think ZANU-PF, they actually they miscalculated that. They should have waited for the free and fair elections and for the people to gain confidence. At the moment, there's no hope. I mean, we can't be overtaken by the rallies, which has been marvelous, attended by the President Emerson Mnangagwa. You know, people go to rallies in search of a lot of things. Some they go to get the regalia, some they go to the rallies to eat because there's food which is dished out. So that portrays a very different, but the votes tomorrow will show that Zimbabwe, they are ready to take Zimbabwe into a right direction.
Doc, as a parting note, he speaks about how Zimbabweans have become savages and terrorists unto themselves. Talk to us about this notion. I mean...
Yes, I mean, he actually learned very late in his tenure. You know, I can admit that I've met President Mugabe personally, and he told me personally that he attempted to resign more than 5 times. But a certain number of the G40 group,
he also mentioned
these are the ones who was dragging him. I mean, they made him to fire Mnangagwa without him realizing that he fired. They're only giving him documents to sign. I mean, for God's sake, you can see even his physique. You know, he was incapable of controlling the government. That's why it was all over the place. You know, and these G40 people, they used him, you know, to loot the country's resources. I mean, to him actually is telling the world that... But is that not an excuse,
Doctor? I know we're out of time, but let's leave it there. Thank you so much.
I know, you like saying that all the time, but next time I'm going to have a lot of time.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That is Dr. Charles Sinkala, who is the president of the World Native Identity Foundation, also talking to us about the upcoming Zim elections that are to take place tomorrow. Let's take a quick ad break. We're back with more news.